Okay, so there's some good ratios out there to evaluate stock prices and dividends and things and debt and equity and all sorts of things. But we also want to look at a firm and say, well, how good is the management team? How good are they using some of these things that we're doing? And is there some numbers, so some numeric things, some quantitative data we can look at beyond just the qualitative data of like they talk nice or maybe they seem like smart, nice guys. We want something maybe a little bit more numerical to prove it to us. And that's where efficiency ratios come in. They're a quantitative or a numeric ratio that is looking at management efficiency, basically. And one of the most popular out there that you can look at is the asset turnover ratio. Basically, it's looking at how fast are we turning over assets in relation to sales. You look at the income statement, the balance sheet. If you did want to do the numbers by yourself, you don't have to. You can always find places that will list a company's asset turnover ratio, usually on their own website. But the formula is they're looking at sales. You're looking at your sales or revenue. You're looking at sales. And you're dividing that by your average total assets, how much total assets you got. And when you're looking at it, you're looking at the efficiency of those assets. So it's similar to ROA, like return on assets. But the asset turnover ratio is really looking at how good is the company at using its assets to make products that sell, to make more sales, right? So you're looking at sales as a number and looking at assets in comparison. How fast are we turning over those sales in comparison to the assets? So for example, if company A reported $100,000 in sales, and it owns $50,000 in assets, right? So that's its equipment, its factories, the different things it might have. It has $50,000 in assets. Its asset turnover ratio would be 2 times, right? For every dollar of assets that's owned, it's generating $2 in sales each year. And if you look at things like profitability margin and all that, you can kind of figure out, well, if I have $2 in sales, this is how much profit will come down. And then with that profit, how much of that profit is going to go into, shareholder equity, or how much of that profit is going to go maybe pay out in a dividend to me, which is great, or how much is being reinvested in the company. So you can see how some of these ratios tie together. But it's really about efficiency, right? Management and leadership in business is all about being efficient in managing scarce resources. So assets is a scarce resource. In this example, the company has $50,000 in assets. It doesn't have $2 billion in assets because they just can't afford to buy all that. So they have $50,000. But with that $50,000, how much in sales are we making with that $50,000 in U.S. Sales? And that's where the $100,000 comes in. So with asset turnover ratio, you can see the bigger the number, the better. If you had more sales in comparison to 50,000, you would have a higher number than 2. Or if your 50,000 was less and you still had the same $100,000 in sales, your asset turnover ratio would still be high. It would be over 2 in this case. It would be still a higher number. So more sales you have, the good. Less assets you're using to make those sales, that's great too, and that's how the ratio is using it in comparison. It's really about efficiency, and companies with a good asset turnover ratio in comparison to their competitors are saying, yeah, we're able to use our assets much more efficiently and better than our competitors. And that's a good sign.